James Gunn has found the DCU's Lex Luthor, and once again it has caused some division. Hey everyone, welcome back to our movie news. James Gunn has been hard at work in pre-production of Superman Legacy, and since the strikes ended, we have had multiple casting announcements, and the latest is regarding Lex Luthor. According to Deadline, Nicholas Hoult lands role of Lex Luthor. They state, exclusive, we hear that James Gunn has found his Lex Luthor in British actor Nicholas Hoult, several sources tell us. So it's not official yet, but the Hollywood Reporter states that negotiations have been ongoing since before the strikes began. Obviously, they were put on hold whilst the strikes happened, but now they have reignited since the strikes ended, and it seems Nicholas Hoult is James Gunn's first choice for Lex Luthor. Now for me, I think Lex Luthor is one of the hardest characters to cast because there are so many different avenues to go down. I can't really imagine Hoult as Lex Luthor, but I'm sure he will do a good job. However, I have seen some negativity surrounding this casting choice from people on social media. And to those people, I say this. Remember all the past DC castings where actors have been seen as terrible choices, but then become fan favourites. Two examples off the top of my head are Heath Ledger and Ben Affleck. Both at the time were seen as terrible choices and yet are now seen as fan favourites. So let's just remember that before we start bashing any new castings. I think Hoult is a pretty good actor, so I don't think we will have to worry about his acting ability. He also auditioned for Batman in Matt Reeves' The Batman and for Superman in Superman Legacy, with being one of the finalists for that role. Obviously, David Corenswet was the best choice for Superman, however Hoult was one of the finalists, so clearly he impressed James Gunn. It really seems we have a strong trio of actors, David Corenswet as Superman, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and now Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I am very impressed by those three castings, and I am very excited to see what they do in Superman Legacy. Honestly, the more I hear about the movie, the more excited I get. Sure, I'm a little worried about the plot leak from the other day, but Gunn did say that's not true, and I'm going to be optimistic and take his word for it right now. And even if it is true, it's all about execution. If he does it right, then it will feel unique and entertaining. We do have another rumoured casting for Superman Legacy, this time for General Sam Lane. According to Jeff Snyder, Michael Rooker is the favourite to play him. Now if you don't know, Michael Rooker was Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy and also made a brief appearance in the Suicide Squad. So like what most directors do, Gunn looks to be bringing in an actor he has already worked with. If he was to play General Lane, then that would also confirm even more that the Suicide Squad isn't canon to the DCU, which is great news as it means the DCU is further disconnected to the DCEU. And I can see Rooker as Sam Lane. He's got that authoritative voice and look, so I think that is a perfect fit for him. Jeff Snyder also stated, with the three main roles now cast along with a handful of other superheroes, the question now turns to who will play characters such as Ma and Pa Kent, as well as Superman's father, Jor-El, which I think is something most assumed would now be happening anyway. So if you have any fan casts for Ma and Pa Kent and Jor-El, let me know in the comments below. So the cast of Superman Legacy is looking even stronger, but we have two final updates. The first I unfortunately cannot find the screenshot for, but it was someone asking Gunn when we would see David Corenswet in the Superman suit. And Gunn said definitely after we finish filming, which is a shame because if we do get any leaked photos of the suit, then first of all, it ruins the big official reveal, but secondly, if that image makes the suit look bad and the image spreads around social media, then it could give the film a bad reputation. However, if they keep it all under wraps until the official reveal, then it will be a fantastic surprise, as we will get an official professional look at the costume. The final update today is from Gunn about the general overall tone of the DCU. One Instagram user asked, "I'm sorry if this was answered before, but I wanted to know what would be the general tone of the movies under DCU now. Will it be more like the Guardians of the Galaxy / Marvel Cinematic Universe, or like Snyder's DC? And Gunn replied with, there will not be a general tone, just as there is not a general tone in the great comics series. It will shift from project to project, filmmaker to filmmaker. Now, I did have a bit of a worry with this initially. I was worried that general audiences may feel put off of the DCU if there was no consistent tone throughout, as they can't get used to a specific formula. However, thinking about it more, and talking to people in my personal life who are parts of the general audience, they made me realise that it's not the inconsistency in tone that would ever put them off DC. It's the inconsistency in quality. And it's a reason why they have stopped watching the MCU as much now. The MCU's quality has become inconsistent and has been declining ever since No Way Home. When I used to go watch every MCU movie in the cinema as soon as it came out and watch them multiple times each in the cinema, it was because the quality was consistent. I always knew I was getting, at the very least, a good movie. The characters varied, and so did the tone, but I always knew I was getting, at the bare minimum, a good film. Now, unfortunately, that isn't the case. But bringing this back to the DCU, it completely makes sense that the worry isn't consistency in tone, it's consistency in quality. If every DCU project at the bare minimum is good, then general audiences shouldn't have a hard time with the tone shifting from project to project. Someone very close to me described it perfectly. They said, I love Spider-Man and I love Captain America, but if Spider-Man was like Captain America, then you would lose the essence of Spider-Man. Which is so true. That is exactly why shifting the tone from project to project is so important, and it's frustrating that I've only realized that now, but it makes complete sense. So I completely agree with Gunn. Shifting project to project, filmmaker to filmmaker is a great attribute to the DCU if the projects are consistently good. If they can build a good reputation with the projects they release, then the shifting tone isn't an issue at all. It will also mean that there is something for everyone. If you prefer darker DC projects, here is Batman Brave and the Bold and Swamp Thing. If you liked DC projects with a lot of humour, here is Peacemaker and Booster Gold. Or even if you just like a mix of darker moments and lighter moments, here is Superman Legacy. I think what people, myself included, who prefer or are used to darker DC movies, focus on is the inclusion of light-hearted or comedic projects on the DCU slate and really criticize that, thinking Gunn wants to turn DC into a joke because projects like Booster Gold are there. But that's actually not true, because if it was, then he wouldn't include any dark DC projects in the slate at all. He would just leave it to the comedic characters only, so Batman wouldn't be there and neither would Swamp Thing. Two characters who are known for being dark, and Gunn has recognized that they are. So yes, there are light-hearted or comedic projects, but there are also darker and more serious projects too. He's presenting multiple different aspects of the DC universe and bringing them together in the DCU. It's not about one set tone and adjusting characters from the comics to fit that tone. He's basically making a DC universe where all tones are welcome and will all be building towards this larger storyline. Yes, I am still a bit cautious as I haven't enjoyed Gunn's DC movies, but he will be treating the DCU very differently to two DC projects in a messy DCEU. He has far more responsibility now, and I think he recognizes that. Not everyone will love every project, and not every project is made for everyone, but he is trying to build a DC universe where everyone will love something, and hopefully most people will like the majority of it. So I am very excited to see what the DCU does, but make sure to let me know your thoughts on today's topics in the comments below. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!